really taking a close look at really a historic Hurricane Milton, making news for all the wrong reasons. Officially a Category 5 now, up to 175-mile-per-hour sustained winds, but the hurricane hunters actually found some wind gusts up over 200 miles per hour. Now, our weather team had been talking it could ramp up to a Category 4 or 5. So as far as our impacts at home, we're not expecting this type of intensity as it makes a move toward Florida and a landfall as we head into later Wednesday and Thursday. Just keep that in mind. Right now, moving east at 9 miles per hour, pressure at 911 millibars. And as we take a look at why Milton's making history for all the wrong reasons, we're talking about something that only has happened a couple of times in modern hurricane tracking history. Okay, so notice 24 hours ago it had 80-mile-per-hour sustained winds, and as we look out there right now, up to 175. And look at the pressure drop. 988 millibars to 911 millibars. So a very well organized, a very mature tropical cyclone. And as Milton starts to make that move off to the east, right now it's east at 9 miles per hour, still expecting it to peak here as we head into the next 12 hours. And then notice as we go into tomorrow, Category 4, and then wind shear starts to entrain in the system, maybe even some dry air. So a Category 3, 2 or 3 as it makes a move toward the western coast of Florida. And again, still a major hurricane. And the big change we've seen and some of the new information is the models keep slowing this system down. That's important because what you see here is likely to change. Okay, we're talking about that track intensity and timing. If that track's slowing down, the dynamics in the upper levels of the atmosphere will change. So right now I know it's pointing right at Tampa Bay, but please stay tuned because there likely is going to be change. But one thing we can do to control things, right? We can prepare and we can heed those evacuation warnings. So we're gassing up out there, making sure you have enough gas. I had trouble finding gas this morning. Okay, so I finally found there. So that took care of that. Check that off. We want to stock up on the water, make sure we have enough water. You can use plastic baggies, maybe put some ice in them, filling them up, and they'll melt and you'll have water later on. So more plastic baggies, the better. In my family is what we do. Check the kits, charge the devices. That's very important because likely we will lose some power with the storm. Heed all evacuation warnings. All right, we're doing that very well. I want everybody to keep up the good work on that. And then protect your homes. There's a lot of debris out there, right, from Helene. And that could start flying around very easily with some of the wind speeds we're forecasting with Milton as it comes closer to home, especially Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, and Thursday. All right, so as we take a look, we're tidying up ahead of the storm, Hurricane Milton's main impacts. And if you look at our weather team update, looks like they begin more like Wednesday afternoon, maybe later in the afternoon, especially Wednesday night into Thursday. All right, so slower timing. We're going to continue to update that. Landfall late Wednesday, still early Thursday morning. The biggest impact still looking like it will be, yes, one of the biggest impacts, and as we know when we found out in Helene, will be the storm surge. So where will that eye wall make landfall? Because it's right where it makes landfall and just to the south where we'll have the highest surge. Okay, that's to be determined. But again, if you're in an evacuation zone, we're not playing meteorologists. We're not taking any chances like we saw with Helene. We're getting out. All right. Okay. And we take a look at what we need. Stocking the supplies. We're finishing the preparations. The last day to evacuate would be tomorrow. Making sure my daughter got home safely from college. I know USF, a lot of kids there traveling home. Just make sure they do that by Tuesday. We take a look at the latest here. Hurricane Milton putting the satellite picture into motion here. There's our Cat 5. There's our low pressure out ahead of it. And that low pressure still will spin up a few showers this afternoon, but really nothing to slow you down if you're making the final preps here for the storm. The models, yes. Okay, so let's take a look at our spaghetti models here, and you see a good consensus at this point where you look at a lot of the models heading toward Tampa, but there's still plenty of room for this to change again. A lot of models still trending to the south, some trending to the north, and that's what we're going to be looking at closely here, especially over the next couple of days. We take a look at the future cast, and here we go. There's low pressure number 1. Nothing to slow you down if you're evacuating to some inland locations. All right, up to northeast Florida. Look at that, looking like nothing to slow you down, but we're going to start to see things deteriorate or go downhill as we head through the day, especially on Wednesday. So there's Wednesday at 11 a.m. and here you go. There's Milton coming closer to home. We'll start to see the first feeder bands coming into the area, especially Wednesday afternoon. And the very latest, I put the latitude longitude lines on this because as we go through the day Wednesday and especially Wednesday afternoon, we're going to be watching very carefully if Milton does take that right turn. And if you look at the very latest here on the graph model, the new data does seem to indicate that it would move more to the east and east-northeast as it approaches Florida. Okay, and that would be, and look at this timing now, it shows this happening as we go into Thursday at noon. So again, there will be changes. As far as the forecast wind, we talked about the surge threat out across the area, and we got a lot of wind coming our way as well. But the highest winds, again, likely holding off, it looks like, until later Wednesday and Thursday. Local impacts. Okay, these again will be updated. This is just a first look, not set in stone, but late Wednesday, Thursday, as we go into Citrus, Hernando, Pasco County. And I know we're thinking of you, Crystal River, Hudson. I know you're still cleaning up. I know you're tired. It's been a lot over the last couple of weeks, but we got to take the storm seriously, because look at that. We got damaging wind gusts, rain of 6 to 10 inches, and that surge, depending on where the landfall is of the eye, could be up over 5 feet. So we heed all evacuation warnings. To the south we go, Pinellas County, thinking of our friends in Clearwater, Aunt Joy, Tarpon Springs. Yeah, I'm watching you in the McMullen Booth Parkway, so I know it's very busy out there. A lot of evacuations going on. Allow extra time, okay? Pack the patience out there. But it does look like as we head into late Wednesday and Thursday, we will have some big impacts with some wind damage, 70 to 90 mile per hour winds, depending on where that eye is. Rainfall over 10 inches possible, and a surge. That surge there of 8 to 12 feet would be higher, unfortunately, than Helene. So if you saw a lot of high water with the last storm, likely to see it again, and it could be worse, okay? And if we do get the 8 to 12 feet, you know, we averaged about 7 feet, right around there for Helene. This would be a little higher, okay? That's a problem. Now, we need to know, travel not advised as we head into late Wednesday into Thursday. To the south we go, Manatee and Sarasota. We said there's some tracks to the south, some to the north. You could have the biggest impacts, but again, this could still change. So you've got 80 mile per hour plus winds, rain of 6 to 10 inches, and that storm surge, unfortunately, 8 to 12 feet, all right, depending on that landfall. We take a look at Milton's local impacts inland. This is one thing to note. I think this storm will have more impacts inland. This is really a Florida storm. This is not cutting quickly up toward Georgia and the Carolinas. This one is for most of Florida, and it does include, unfortunately, maybe some deadly inland flooding impacts. We're not just looking at the coast with this thing. Some of the models showing 12, 14, 15, 16 inches of rain, and that would include areas to watch things closely. Avon Park, Lake Placid, Lake Wales. Be careful of that flooding. Power outages will be likely. Got to take it seriously wherever we are here in the viewing area. 7-day forecast shows that weather impact alert. And I tell you what, we take a look at Monday, Tuesday, at least we have the rest of today, tonight, and much of Tuesday. And right now it looks like by Wednesday we all should be where we should be, need to be, right? And then as the day goes on, things will deteriorate into Thursday. And then finally, it looks like by later Thursday and especially Friday, back to some quiet, tranquil weather. And of course, we'll keep you updated here, informed, prepared, and connected here on 10 Tampa Bay Plus, and we appreciate your trust.